Hello, my name is Savannah, aka the Christian Pinup, and today is part 2 of my series, Pinup Basics, where we talk about how to start dressing vintage, all the things you need to know to grow a vintage wardrobe, to do vintage hairstyling and beauty. So in my last video, part 1, we talked about clothing. How to start with just the basics needed to build a vintage wardrobe. And then I shared a few things that I thought were just kind of fun that you could add in later. If you want to watch that video, I will have it linked in the description. Today's video, part 2, will be about accessories. Here in my Mary Poppins bag, I have all the accessories I'm talking about today. It's not very vintage, but it holds a whole lot of stuff. And I'm just gonna start pulling out some of the things that I gathered that I thought were like the most important, most basic, starting out vintage kit, starter kit for accessories. Our first thing is belts. Now here I have 3 different types. And you could have more than this too, but to start off, there's our somewhat skinny belt. Red because, you know, it's kind of synonymous with pinups, I think. And it matches my nails. Then we have our more medium size belt. Something a little more neutral. And that's always good to have a black, a brown, a white, some neutral colors. I said that a lot in my clothing video as well, but it just makes things easier to mix and match when you don't buy like purple and yellow and pink. This one is quite big. It's also one of my favorite things, stretchy. So, you know, when you've had a little much for dinner that night and you got a little food baby going on, won't feel too tight. I like belts like this, especially for my body type particularly, because I have kind of a short torso for somebody my height. I'm not super tall, but even for someone my height, most of my body's legs. So then I have a sort of big bust, so my waist can get a little lost in some of my outfits. So anything that cinches at the waist or draws attention to that area is good. Next item is shoes. So, although shoes are an accessory, they're very essential. You know, a necklace is not essential to leaving the house, but you probably should put on shoes before you go to the store. It's kind of frowned upon to go barefoot, especially right now. But just kind of the most just basic need of a vintage girl is flats, especially like black flats, because these literally go with like everything in my closet. They're comfortable. You can tell, I think, that I wear them a lot. You can wear in an office setting, or something you can wear with jeans. I don't really wear heels because I'm not very graceful in them. So obviously a pair of black heels would also be a great thing to have if you do wear heels. These sandals are a little worse for the wear at the moment, but they're a good example of like a summer shoe when you don't want to wear a flat, you know, you don't want your feet sweating. These are obviously not vintage, but they have a look of being vintage, and they go with vintage clothing. So yeah, I feel like summer shoes is one place where I struggle, because a lot of vintage shoes are like heels or flats. They're not necessarily flip-flops, you know? Now obviously you can still wear flip-flops if you want to, but this is a good alternative to being dressier and more vintage without having to wear something that's gonna make your feet sweat. You need more than just 2 pairs of shoes. But today we're just really covering like the most basic general things you need. And then of course, once you've built up your wardrobe a little bit, once you've gotten more vintage inspired or vintage things in your closet, then you can add more. So now we're gonna talk about, some hair accessories. So I have a lot of scarves here to show you. But the first, now this one I purchased, I believe, from an antique store or thrift store. It's just a nylon white scarf. It is kind of a square shape. And these are, I would say, a more authentic vintage look. You just don't see a lot of people walking around with these in their hair unless they're dressing vintage. And they're nice because they're kind of lightweight, and they're a functional thing as well as just pretty. Obviously you can tie them in a bow and wear them in your hair, or wear it with an updo, or you can put it on your hair if you have rollers in, especially like if I've gotten my hair a little bit too wet and I know that it's gonna take a long time to dry, because sometimes that happens with wet sets. This is sheer, so I feel like more air gets in to help it dry faster. And these have, you tie them really tight and they stay in very well. I have kind of soft hair that can be a problem when I want something to stay in, because like a silk scarf is going to slip out of my hair much easier than something like this. So these, you can find them at antique stores like I bought mine. You can go on eBay, and sometimes people will be selling like a huge bundle of different colors, so you could have one to go with like every outfit. Vintage reproduction stores have these, so they're easier to find than you'd think. My next thing is more of a silk scarf. Oh, I already have it tied. And these usually come in like all different colors and patterns. And again, I think I bought this at the same antique store where I got the other one. It's a polka dot pattern. It's a little wrinkled because I've had it in my little box where I keep all my accessories and scarves and things. Again, it's like a square shape. This is one of my like not super large ones, because I have ones that are like the same thing but a lot bigger. This one isn't quite as silky as some of my other ones are. I try to sleep with rollers in. I'll put something like this on also, like if my hair is a little more dry and I'm not as concerned about it having something breathable on top, I'll use this. I also use this with updos, and you could tie it on your neck if you like that look, you know. Tie it on your bag. Something I just discovered, I feel like I didn't know people did this, but yeah, tie it on your purse. I saw someone do that one day and it was like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. Why have I never thought of that? Then I have this one, which is a much more actually silk fabric, and it's a lot larger. I like this one a lot for like when I had like foam rollers in my hair, because they're a little more bulky, and this one's really big. So like I don't have to worry about anything sticking out or anything falling off while I'm sleeping. And you can do all kinds of fun things with this as well. This one's real big. Also like a square shape, but I can't even get it all the way in the camera because it's so big. So I got this one at Forever 21 years ago, and it's got this pretty flower print on it. I've worn this in my hair as well, but not as frequently because it's so big. So you really have to like tie it up. You could do like a turban style with this or something, which I've worn it like that before with my hair down or up. But yeah, I think it's good to have multiple sizes and colors, because you can do different things with them. So those are my scarves. Now I have a bandana, because I think especially if you're going for a more casual or like rockabilly look, you know, because there's kind of, even within vintage style, there's different ways of dressing vintage. So even within, you know, the category of vintage clothing, there's still kind of like subcategories. And everyone has their own look. You know, even though we're all dressing vintage, still you can have your own unique way of doing it. So if you're wanting more of a edgy kind of rockabilly look, or some days, you know, some days I look like this, and some days I want to wear jeans and a bandana. So it just depends on what day it is. This one's great. I got this at Walmart, I'm pretty sure, like super cheap, like $1.50 or something like that. So these are pretty easy to find. I feel like you get on Amazon, Walmart, whatever. Bandanas aren't really hard to find. I just recently purchased this actually from Forever 21, like a couple days ago. I got more than one. I got a blue one as well. But again, neutral colors when you're starting out, best thing you can do. It's kind of bigger than most of the bandanas I see in this style. So like, you know, when you've got your hair up and the whole back of it just looks like total crap, you know what I'm talking about. Well, throw this sucker on, covers all that up. Same with the scarf, covers all the bad stuff up. Also, if like you did your hair and then your bangs just aren't cooperating and it looks like complete crap, throwing on this headband and just gets rid of all the front that doesn't look good. And accessories are also good for hiding mistakes or just, you know, days when your hair is just not doing what you want it to do. And if it's hot, in the summer, I like to put my hair up a lot more often than I normally would because, you know, you're sweating and your hair's in the back of your neck and everything's frizzy, and especially for me. So there's lots of hair accessories in here. Let's see. I believe this is my last one though. Yes. So got a little purple flower. There's a little bit yellow in the middle if I can. There we go. It's got a clip on the back. Now one of the cool things that I've realized now that I could do with these is that you can clip this to your shoe. So you could take your flat, clips in the front of it if you have two of them. My hairs are everywhere. All I do is have to brush it and it's just like all over the place. You'd think I'd be bald by now, honestly. The joys of being a girl. So anyway, these are cute for your hair, obviously. Especially like with updos, you could put like a couple of them in there and go crazy with it. I got this at Forever 21. Again, I shopped there a lot apparently. A few years ago actually, but they always have stuff like this, and lots of stores have things like this, and you can make them yourself. I did that too. When I was first starting out, I was like, I just went to the dollar store, got a little felt. That's really all it is like a piece of felt over a clip. So really not hard to do. Get some hot glue. I mean, it literally looks like that's what they did, and I paid for this. So you go get a pretty flower from Walmart or the dollar store, and you put a little felt and a little clip on there, you're done. And you could have like one to go with every outfit, you know, all the different colors. So flowers are a nice touch to the outfit, but again, you have a clip like this, you can pin it on your shirt, put it on your dress, put it on your shoes, put it, I don't know, I guess you could put it on your bag. I don't really know how well that would work, but yeah, have fun with it. Put flowers everywhere. Next is brooches. This is something that I wasn't immediately into, and that is definitely a vintage thing that people don't really wear a lot anymore. Not that you can't find them. You can find them on like Amazon and stuff. And there are a lot of people I follow like on Instagram, Etsy, that make vintage accessories and jewelry that are probably making things like this. So it's not like you can't find them, but you're not as likely to walk into like Forever 21 and find a brooch, or, you know, whatever retail stores you have in your mall or around you. So yeah, these are kind of just a more fun item that you don't have to have. And you can again pin this to like your shoes if you have two of them. Pin it to your outfit, of course, that's the obvious use for it. Or if you're wearing a scarf and you want to clip it to the scarf, that would work too. You could use it like if you have a vintage hat to hold your hat on, or just as an accessory, like in the winter, if you wear a winter hat and you want to add a little cute thing to it. This one's kind of heavy for that, probably. I have one that is a little bit more demure and sophisticated looking, and it's so pretty. I don't know if you can, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it focus. Or just this little metal rose with a pearl in the center, and of course pearls are classic, and it's a little bit smaller, so it's not as like gaudy looking, I guess. You know, like if you're going into a professional setting and you don't want to wear like a big flower on your dress. It's one of my favorites, and I got this, I think, also at like a flea market for like $1.50 or something. It was like a big bin that had a bunch of jewelry. So that's where a lot of like my more vintage jewelry has come from. So that's a good little thing to have. But not everybody likes to wear a lot of jewelry, so that's kind of up to you. I'm not a big bracelet wearer, which is why I don't really have any to show you, because I have smaller wrists and I have trouble finding the ones that fit, and they just drive me crazy. Like when I write, when I walk, and they make noise. But I have a pearl necklace here. Like I said, pearls are timeless, and these are not like real or expensive or anything like that. Again, I think I pulled these out of the same bin where I got my brooches. Most of my jewelry comes from like Forever 21, where everything's like $2 to $5. If I have to pay more than that, then I'm not usually interested. That's just, I'm just admitting I'm cheap. And this just goes with everything, so it's a really good thing to start off with. Plus, it just, you know, everyone just looks at pearls and they think vintage, I feel like, especially like a string of pearls like this. I think that's just kind of the immediate thing that it calls to mind. That's a really good beginner, basic thing to have. I also have on just like stud pearls today. And you can get them in like every size known to man. I think I was just at the store, I was at Forever 21, and they had like a pack of like huge ones like this, all the way down to like microscopic looking pearls. So for like $5, you get like a whole pack of like every size imaginable. So those are not hard to find at all. And especially if you're not someone who likes like big earrings, then they're not gonna bother you. They're not gonna hurt your ear. Just bought these on Poshmark. They were only a few dollars. These are actual vintage, but you can get some similar ones that are a little bit smaller than this. I think I saw some at like H&M, or like someone posted some on Poshmark that were from H&M originally, and they have a very vintage look. Also, there's another shop that I follow on Instagram, small business that makes vintage jewelry, and they have some that are very similar to this, and I'll link that below. If you want to support a small business, that's always nice. But these are a little bit heavier, a little bit bigger than what I have on today. So these are just fun. I just love unique, fun, like sunglasses and earrings. I enjoy things that are a little quirky. So these aren't quite that quirky. I have giant cherry earrings as well that you'll probably see me wear at some point. And those are a little more novelty looking than these are. But I just love how these match everything, and they're really versatile, especially when you're starting out. That's so important, like I've said about 50 billion times in this video. My last thing is something that's not necessarily a must-have. It's just something fun that after you've sort of built up your wardrobe a little bit, you can go try to look for. I did have one of these that I bought off of someone on Etsy that they had made, but it's a sweater clip, and it's got these little gold, they're kind of hard to open. Okay, yeah, clip right here, and then beads in the middle. These have like a little design on them, but it's probably too hard to see. And you just clip it to both sides like your cardigan, and then it holds your sweater closed. And it's just a cute little accent piece that very vintage. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that it's been helpful and informative. And if you would like to see more videos like this, then please hit that subscribe button and that little bell that lets you know when I upload a new video. Comment below with any requests that you have. I would love to hear them. And follow me on Instagram if you want to see what else I'm up to.